Ain't nobody's running, ain't nobody's hiding, nobody's ducking. I mean, Crawford's going to be right there, ready to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. Why did you use that word war? Why are you feeling that way?
If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
Crawford could see everything coming. He could see everything coming that Canelo threw at him. He was reading it so well. His guard was so tight as well when he was up at the ropes, when he was exiting, looking to move around.
They looked about the same size, but that was a brilliant performance. And what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that.
Stephen A. Smith had a passionate reaction to Canelo Alvarez's defeat against Terence Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford had been chasing this matchup for years as a way to cement his legacy. In Smith's view, Crawford delivered on the biggest stage, dethroning Canelo and stealing the spotlight. He stressed that this wasn't just an ordinary victory, but a career-defining moment for Crawford.
Division world champion out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's undefeated, 41-0 with 31 KOs, and he begged for this fight. He wanted Canelo bad because to him, it's all about legacy. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. And how would I know? It's because I interviewed him. Yesterday, we sat down. Here is my conversation with the one and only Terence Crawford challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 weight divisions to do it.
Max Kellerman agreed that Terence Crawford's performance was both historic and career-defining, offering a sharp breakdown of Canelo Alvarez's loss. Kellerman compared the challenge to moving up several weight classes and facing an opponent capable of pulling you into the toughest fight of your career. He explained that truly confident fighters chase difficult matchups without hesitation, over size, speed, or power. And Crawford embodied that fearless mentality. Kellerman emphasized that for years, no one openly called out Bud, but by stepping up to this challenge, Crawford solidified his place among the sport's most respected fighters.
Giving up having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who was over there. Whoever they brought out that locker room was going to get it. You understand me? That's just what it was. And I think Bud kind of has that feeling. Now, Bud, you got to remember, has been around for a long time. Nobody called him out. You understand me? All the time Floyd came at the boxing floor, never said I want Bud Crawford.
No one ever said his name.
Hey, all I know is one thing. Israel Mazrimov, he didn't get it. He barely lost.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but nobody called his name.
Shakur Stevenson's admiration for Terence Crawford has always been clear, but after Crawford's dominant victory over Canelo Alvarez, his words carried even greater significance. Stevenson explained that Crawford not only backed up everything he promised before the fight, but also showed why he is so highly respected in the sport. He admitted that from the beginning of his own career, he studied Crawford's style, mindset, and discipline. Witnessing his idol achieve such a historic milestone reinforced for Stevenson that true greatness comes from years of preparation and consistency. To him, Crawford is more than just a champion. He's a mentor figure and the standard of excellence that young fighters strive to reach.
Cook Canelo. He said he was going to outbox him. He did exactly what I called years ago, and tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer that ever lived.
Well, in the interview that didn't work, you said you felt like going on a run watching that tonight. How much inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from I've been around him since I was a kid, and just watching that greatness.
Stephen A. Smith reflected on Terence Crawford's determination leading up to the Canelo fight. He noted that while many fighters might have asked a superstar like Canelo to drop to a more favorable weight, Crawford chose to face him head-on at 168 pounds. For Crawford, the challenge was never about comfort, it was about legacy. Smith reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez remains one of the sport's most elite champions, with titles across multiple divisions. By targeting exactly what Canelo held at super middleweight and pursuing it without hesitation, Crawford showed his relentless drive to achieve greatness on the toughest stage imaginable.
41-0, Molly. with 31 knockouts. He's taken on all comers. I asked him, you're moving up in weight. Why would you not try to get Canelo to come down from 168 to 160 to meet you halfway, since his last fight was at Crawford's last fight was at 154? Crawford said, I want what he has. I want to go take it. I don't want to make, I don't want him making concessions and alterations. I'm coming to take what he has. And you look at him, and no one believes that he can't pull it off. He can box, he can punch, he's smart, he's elite, and he wants Canelo. He begged Canelo for this fight.
Aid Oladipo pointed out the dramatic shift in how the public views Terence Crawford. Before the fight, many critics claimed he was too small, too old, and unprepared to handle a powerhouse like Canelo Alvarez at a higher weight. Yet afterward, some of those same voices were quick to applaud him, despite having doubted him before. Aid stressed that Crawford earned every bit of that praise because he secured the victory in the hardest way possible. Climbing up from smaller divisions to challenge a dominant force like Canelo was no short. It was a massive risk. By defeating Canelo so convincingly, Crawford showed that he is defined not by size or age, but by his skill and relentless determination.
Crawford did it again a few hours ago against Canelo. And what makes it even special or more special for Crawford is that he did it jumping up, as we know, a couple of weight classes. He did it against one of an all-time or another fellow all-time great. And he did it against someone who was undisputed and still a pound-for-pound top 10 guy. That's what Crawford did, people. So, all those things people were saying in the lead up to this fight, Canelo's going to be too strong, Canelo's too experienced, Crawford's going to be 38, all that. You have to remember all of that when you give Crawford his flowers. Don't like, oh, well, Canelo looks old. No. I don't want to hear any of that. I've started to see a few people on Twitter start to kind of sort of find excuses already. No. Remember everything you said, because Crawford deserves all of that. All of that. Crawford was incredible. Honestly, in the pocket, he was at times showing Canelo, no, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to bully you. Oh, you think you're going to get me in the clinch because you're Mr. 168? No, look at the size of me. I'm jacked as well. I'm swole. And he was moving Canelo around. So by doing that, he got his respect. He didn't switch to orthodox once, stayed in the southpaw stance because he realized early, oh, Canelo don't like this. Canelo does not like this southpaw stance. Canelo's tripping over himself. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to switch it. No, I like this work. I'm going to stay here. On the ropes, it's like, okay, come in. Because when you come in, I've got that as well. And I can hurt you as well. Spinning off the ropes. His jab was fantastic. They put up the jab numbers. He was out jabbing Canelo like, it was almost like 10-1. Maybe even 20-1. It was fantastic. And when he needed to land those power shots, he was landing those power shots. It was an incredible performance.
The Wade concept analyst pushed back against the idea that Canelo's loss could simply be chalked up to the decline of an aging champion. He highlighted that Crawford is actually older than Canelo, making age an invalid excuse. On top of that, Alvarez entered the fight with the natural advantages of weight, power, and familiarity in the division, yet still came up short. WDE argued that this wasn't about Canelo slipping, but about Crawford rising to an entirely new level. By cutting through the excuses, he made it clear that Crawford's victory was authentic, legitimate, and truly historic.
More tight, more fundamentally sound. While Canelo, even when he was able to get to range, which wasn't a lot, it wasn't often, he was having a hard time landing clean because everything was super wide and out here and to the body out there. And Crawford would either circle out to that same side, to Canelo's lead hand side. He would circle away because Canelo would step straight to Crawford and chase him and not necessarily cut him off. And even when he threw that hook, I was looking for the hook from Canelo right hand as he stepped through, right? Corral with the lead hand, bang the right hand because you're fighting a southpaw. So yeah, your jab may not be as effective in landing and managing distance and all those things, even though for Terence it kind of was. For Canelo, I was expecting a lot more of that right hand down the middle and over the top, and him jabbing his way, feint jab right hand, and then that lead hook that I thought he would be able to corral Crawford, because Crawford did want to move away from Canelo. He did. He wanted to move away from that power hand. Smart to do. Canelo never took that extra step to step outside of Crawford's lead foot. Again, that orthodox southpaw matchup, it's always going to be a battle of that lead foot. He never took that next step to get outside of that lead foot and then step through Crawford, step to his left where Crawford was going and land his right hand. He just felt like he was falling off to his right with his right hand, and once he fell off to his right after he threw the right hand, there was no follow-ups because he was off balance, and Crawford was out the gate and circling back to reset the action. This was a masterful display from Terence Crawford. And again, I looked at this fight, and I don't want to do the thing where I said, oh, Canelo's washed, he's over the top, he's old. Terence Crawford's older than Canelo. Is he as weathered as far as fights are concerned? No. But you can only do one thing when talking about this fight, and that is give credit to Terence Crawford. If you want to say Canelo looked old, that's fine. That's on you. I'm not going to say it.
Combination punches on the back foot, sort of dictating the pace. And then after about round 6 or 7, Canelo Alvarez knew, 1 second. I need a little freshener. Canelo knew he had to step on the gas. He knew he had to put the fight on its front foot and take it to Terence Crawford and start to try and catch him and bang him on. And when he headbutted Crawford, I thought that could be the start of it. A little bit of a nut, get that down. Yeah, I don't know if there was a cut, but the referee stopped and had a look. And I thought, now Canelo's going to step on the gas. And he did that. He stepped on the gas, he started getting in close, and he started landing a few more shots than he was in the previous rounds, but it wasn't enough. Terence Crawford was able to catch and counter. He was landing a sneaky uppercut from the southpaw stance. He was dominating behind his jab. And then when Canelo stuck it on him, he was dominating up close in the pocket. He was beating him at his own game. Canelo Alvarez must have been fuming in there. He must have thought to himself, what can I do? He couldn't do anything. He needed to pick up the pace, put the pressure on, and sustain the attacks. And I don't want to take anything away from Terence Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez couldn't do that. He couldn't do it for long enough. Crawford looked like he could have done 20 rounds in there tonight at that pace, the way he was dictating and controlling. And Canelo Alvarez was getting marked up, he was breathing heavy, he was getting tired, he was reaching with shots, and it was getting torn apart. It was an absolute masterclass by Terence Crawford. Canelo tried, Canelo came, he had a go, but to be honest, I don't want to rain on the parade of Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez, for me, is well past his best now. He's seen better days. He hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the fitness to sustain the attack. Afterwards in the interview, he said, I felt great, it's great, I feel good. And don't forget, Crawford's a couple of years older. So I think it's the miles on the clock. Canelo Alvarez had like 67 fights. I know Crawford's had a fair few fights, but he's about 20 fights behind him. So the miles on the clock have caught up with Canelo Alvarez. He's feeling the pace, he's feeling the age.